Prince the King, and we're going to look at the NBA draft lottery options for the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, so let's just look at the odds. Let's start with that. So for the 2019 NBA draft lottery, the odds for the Knicks, 14, Cavs, 14, Phoenix Suns, 14, Bulls, 12, Atlanta Hawks, 10, Washington Wizards, 9, Pelicans, 6, Pick lands. For the New Orleans Pelicans, the Celtics are in prime position. Pelicans are in a great position. Okay, let's just say the Pelicans get the #1 pick. That would be insane because you can pick Zion and then you can still trade Anthony Davis if you want to, or you can keep Anthony Davis depending on how you feeling after you get the #1 overall pick. I mean, I'm just taking Zion. If AD wants to stay, he stay. If he won't go, if the other chips fall with the Celtics, I'm shipping him to the Celtics and they give me 4 picks, 5 picks, however many picks they have, and I'm taking Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown. I'll just probably take those 2 and then probably take the highest of the Celtics picks, and if they want to keep the other picks, that's on them. If somehow miraculously if the Lakers can get the #1 pick, that would be absolutely lovely. That would be the greatest thing for the Pelicans. If the Lakers get the #1 pick, we could just trade. Well, that wouldn't be the greatest thing, but that'll be the greatest thing for the Lakers because they can trade instantly and get Anthony Davis to go there to team up with LeBron. That'll be the best thing for the Lakers. Pelicans are talking with the Knicks right now. So if the Knicks, if they get the #1 pick, then they can trade the #1 pick for Anthony Davis, and that would send Anthony Davis to the Knicks. So that would be a great thing. But if somehow Phoenix could be, I don't know if Monty Williams would trade for Anthony Davis. You know, I don't know. I mean, that was his coach, so Cavaliers, if they get the #1 pick, you never know you never really know. They probably will want to keep Zion. Atlanta probably will want to keep Zion. Washington, it's intriguing. But the best case scenario for the Pelicans is if the Knicks get the first pick, maybe the Bulls, because he might want to go home for a year or 2 or a year. Let's just say that the Knicks get the #1 pick. Everybody's trying to get Zion, Ja Morant, or RJ Barrett. Hachimura isn't bad. Hunter, Kobe White, Jared Culver. That's pretty much, that'll be solid. That'll be solid at 7. If we landed at 7, that'll be solid. Then you got Boston picks. So basically everybody's going after Zion, Ja Morant, and RJ Barrett. But I mean, there are a lot of good players in this draft. And so you want to also accumulate picks if you can't get one of the top 3. We need the Knicks, Lakers,
and Boston.
Knicks, Lakers, and Boston. We need the Knicks, the Lakers, or us to get the #1 pick. So we need basically the Knicks. So when you're watching the draft lottery, you want either the Knicks, the Lakers, or the New Orleans Pelicans to get the #1 pick. You want the Knicks to get the #1 pick so that you can get Zion Williamson for Anthony Davis trade going. You want the Lakers to get the #1 pick because that is Anthony Davis' preferred destination, and we just want to make him happy, and we want both parties to be happy, and that would satisfy that. Plus a few more players, maybe throwing Kuzma, throwing some draft picks and some other things that would go along perfectly. But at a low percentage, I mean, that's highly unlikely. It's really highly unlikely, but you never know in this world. And you want the New Orleans Pelicans to end up with the #1 pick simply because we can get Zion, then we can trade Anthony Davis. You never know if Cleveland or Phoenix or Chicago or somebody else wants Anthony Davis, and we see a young stud that we can get from one of those teams for Anthony Davis to pair up with Zion. You never know. Best case scenario, I guess, is if we get the #1 pick and then Boston, if their picks fall into place, they can end up with the 8th, the 9th, the 14th, the 20th, and the 25th pick. They also have Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. If we get the #1 pick and then Boston give us all of their picks or enough picks in Tatum and Brown, or just Tatum and a lot of picks, then that would satisfy that portion of the deal. The Knicks, the Pelicans, and the Lakers. The Knicks, Pelicans, and the Lakers. This is an opportunity for the New Orleans Pelicans to arise from the ashes of a failing season. Now that David Griffin has taken over the operations of the front office, he has all the power and control. And if the chips fall into place, the New Orleans Pelicans could have an amazing NBA draft. As far as even if the Knicks get the #1 pick, if they get the #1 pick, who's to say that the Pelicans don't get the #2 pick, #3 pick, #4 pick, #5 pick? This draft is perfectly set up and positioned for the Pelicans to do great things. The teams are already in position to make these moves. If the Knicks get the number 1 pick, we can trade Anthony Davis and get Zion. If we fall and get the number 2 or 3 pick, we can get RJ Barrett. We can get Ja Morant. There are so many good players in this draft. This is a loaded draft, but the top 3 are what everybody's aiming for. But if you get a team like Boston, who could potentially have 4 or 5 first-round picks, combined with Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or Marcus Smart, you can definitely create a team around those players. And you can sprinkle in some young talented studs. And this team, pairing with Jrue Holiday, you can change everything. It definitely can change everything. As you acquire all of this talent, you can also bring in free agents who see the vision and the purpose, and they want to follow in the dream. They want to take flight. They want to do it bigger. They want to ascend to greatness. All of the pieces of the puzzle are sitting there waiting. Pelicans just have to make the right moves. The NBA draft lotto today is tomorrow, and it's also the future. The Pelicans, you have to make the right moves. Now, this year, this is the year, only the beginning. This is the beginning process. This is the starting point. This is the starting point to where everything else falls into place. Look at Portland. They just kept losing, but they drafted those 2 players and they pushed them even when they were losing. They stayed positive and they kept going. You have to make the right picks. Ultimately up to the front office to make the right decisions. Make me proud, Pelicans. I'll be watching. And so we want the Knicks, Pelicans, or the Lakers to get the number 1 overall pick. You want the Pelicans to fall in the top 4, somewhere in the top 4, even if they don't get first pick. You want teams like Memphis to get the 9th pick so that Boston can get that pick. And then you want Sacramento not to get the number 1 overall pick so that pick can go to Boston so that we can trade Anthony Davis to Boston and get 4 first-round picks, 4 or 5 first-round picks in the first round. And Jayson Tatum. Pelicans are in great position wherever the chips fall. Zion.
Perfect.
Davis trade options. Pelicans forward Anthony Davis has requested a trade, and so the season has passed. Now we must figure out what to do with him.
The Lakers earlier offered a solid package, but Dell Dem, our former GM, didn't agree with the package that Magic Johnson tried to give to Dell Dems, and now we have a new GM, and now we're gonna still try to trade Anthony Davis. So far, the best option is for the Los Angeles Lakers, even though it is putting the Lakers in prime position to win the West. We're gonna go to ESPN.com/NBA/trade machine.
Picks, everything will balance out. But the question is this enough? Is this acceptable? Are we giving away a generational talent for 2 players and 2 potentially good players? Is this enough? What else? I need some future draft picks. I need potentially maybe 1 or 2 more players. So you have to look at it from 2 different points of view. First point of view is, what are we doing? Are we settling or are we chasing? Are we settling, chasing, or rebuilding? This move, this process, you got some young talent from 21 to 23 years old coming in with Zion. He's gonna be young too. You definitely know where we're rebuilding. That's one. You have Jrue Holiday, who can be the father role. He can train the younger players to become better players. Basically, the They're trying to find their way. They're trying to find their way. We're going to build the team where we can still make the playoffs. It's not about winning the championship. It's all about surprising people, to show them what we're capable of. Stepping stones, or the stones that no one wants to step on. But you must go through the process to get to the point where everything will flow easily like water. You have to go through the process. And I remember a few years ago, I remember like Ball, Kuzma, and Ingram. There's something special about each one of them when they were all together. That's the only thing that I hate, that they have to separate like this. But when they were all together, I'm not saying they were the greatest in the world, but you just saw sparks of potential, little dashes of light here and there. It may look like we're settling, but by the year 2022, these guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with. They're going to surprise a lot of people. Now, I know a lot of people believe the Pelicans aren't really that good, but they're secretly, they can make the playoff if they make the right moves. People are trying to downplay the fact that we're getting rid of a generational talent to acquire a generational talent. Don't mistake Zion for anybody in the past. Zion is basically means kingdom heaven. So this is our chance to, we've had CP3, we've had AD, and now we're going to Zion. This is it. You're giving up a generational talent to acquire 3 of the top 6 players in the NBA draft. You're getting 2 young studs with the potential to blossom into something great and amazing. You have a lot of young players on your team right now that can grow into something that nobody would have ever imagined. I remember being in the arena when I saw Steph and Clay when they were young, babyface, Curry. I remember seeing them, and the way that they shot the ball was just magical. I remember that crowd was so live. I even remember when Eric Gordon went up to shoot a 3 to win the game and he missed it. But I remember how, even though those guys looked like young and just a bunch of random players, they were special. I saw that. And I'm not saying I see the same thing in these people, but I see the potential. I see it. And I think that Jrue Holiday, people are underestimating his influence on players, his power. It's time for Jrue to command and take over. You see how Kawhi, wherever he went, he commanded and took it over. Now it's time for Jrue to step into that main leadership role. You gotta be the man now, Jrue. This is your team. It's your turn. So I say, I'm not even gonna be too picky and take all of the latest players. Just give me some future first round picks, 2 first round picks from this year, some future first round picks, Ingram and Kuzma. I mean, if you could possibly get Ball to come to New Orleans, definitely would like that. But we got some players that we're looking at in the draft that we're gonna try to acquire, and we're just gonna make the best out of the situation that we were given. And that's all we could do. That's all we asked for, is just to make the best out of the situation that we are given. And we're gonna have to do whatever we can to rebuild this team and make it a great team. We got some players. We got some great role players. And people don't know how good Zion is. Generational talent. They put that so lightly. They don't understand. When you get a generational talent, you have to put players around him. Look at Milwaukee. Look what they did with Giannis. I know they didn't win the East, but they could have if Kawhi wasn't on their side. You have to build. You have to decide what you're going to do. Rebuild or build the team to win it. Either way, I still see you making the playoffs this year. I know they got some great teams in the West, but no matter what you do, I think that we are going to surprise a lot of people. You might want to get them tickets now because it's about to get real. It's about to get serious. And I see something really great happening very soon. If you don't believe me, I promise you it's going to happen. Just watch the Pelicans. David Griffin, y'all sleeping on this man. Like, he got some stuff in store that is going to change everything. Everything is in David Griffin's hands. I said that the first time, and I believe that he will make it happen. So good luck to the Pelicans. Let's get some W's. Let's get some wins. Let's get to the playoffs. That's our goal this year. Our goal this year is to get to the playoffs. That's it. There's no other goal for this year. There are other goals, but our primary goal is to make it to the playoffs. We don't even know who's on the team, but just be ready.
Perfect.
his potential, his capabilities, and watch him blossom into one of the best players of all time. I believe the Pelicans Summer League, I'm not gonna waste any time, it's Essence Weekend. I have things to do, you do too, so Pelicans Summer League.
This is the most excited I've ever been to watch the Pelicans Summer League.
Blew it. Also want to see whenever they get the court, Jackson Hayes, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Jackson Hayes and Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Definitely want to see Zion Williamson. I'm not going to say it's unfair, but he's going to be in a minutes restriction. He's just going to get out there, he's going to run around, see what he's capable of. The primary goal of the team is to protect and enhance his abilities. It's just like a superhero, and most superheroes, they have a team. Look at the Flash, look at Batman. Even if it's just one other person, when you're a superhero, you need people around you to mask your weaknesses or enhance your strengths. So mask your weaknesses and enhance your strengths. That's the key. So great opportunity to really get witness. So Zion is giving everybody a stage, an opportunity to actually witness our potential. And then once you see it with your own eyes, your mindset will forever change about the Pelicans. And we're gonna mask his weaknesses and enhance his strengths. And then we're gonna monitor his minutes. Those are the three key things that we're gonna do. When you have a generational talent, you have to prepare for anything. In this article, they say the more a team feels invested in a player, the better for both sides. So the more a team feels like they're investing in a player, and I believe he was talking about Frank Jackson, Christian Wood, and Kenrich Williams, and of course Zion as well. But yeah, the more a team feels invested in a player, the better for both sides. So the more a team likes you, they're going to plan and make a plan for you and make investments in you. And that will make you want to play even more because you feel like you owe the team even more because you guys are basically making a promise to look out for each other as long as we're here. And that bond can create something that a normal person couldn't really understand, like unless you're on that team. When the team feels invested in you, it holds you to a certain standard. And so I'm looking for brothers forever, family, Duke. Duke is taking over the NBA slowly but surely, and we got a lot of them. So we're basically Duke South. So if you're a Duke fan, come in here, baby. Trzaski, if you want to retire anytime and come to New Orleans, come on down. Or